Hi everyone, here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9. How expectant mothers have been impacted by the pandemic when it comes to hospital visits.
The state of Missouri issues new guidance on contact tracing, allowing health departments to have residents do their own if the departments become overwhelmed. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
Hospitalizations are rising across the country as new lockdown measures go into effect. In New York, I'm Alex Hogan. I have that story coming up.
The nation remembers the attack on Pearl Harbor 79 years ago with in-person ceremonies and some events online. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington, and I'll have the details coming up.
Doug Heddy has weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. The Joplin Police Department asking for your help tracking down a bank robbery suspect. The robbery happened on Saturday at noon in the Southwest Missouri Bank on North Range Line. Officials say this suspect, dressed in all black, walked up to the teller and demanded money. The suspect ran away from the scene and police were unable to track them down. If you have any information about the suspect, you are being asked to call the Joplin Police Department. A Diamond, Missouri murder suspect today took an Alford plea. Authorities say in 2015, Lee Yang shot and killed his 88-year-old grandfather in their Diamond home. An Alford plea is when the defendant claims innocence but admits the prosecution does have enough evidence to reach a guilty verdict. Yang pled to second-degree murder and is sentenced to 20 years in prison. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says a woman died this morning in a crash on State Highway 10 around 1.6 miles northeast of Wyandotte. Officials say 20-year-old Alexis Crawford of Wyandotte swerved while trying to avoid a truck turning in the other lane and hit another vehicle. Crawford was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver and passengers of the other vehicle involved had only minor injuries. New state guidance in Missouri could mean some COVID-19 patients will do their own COVID-19 contact tracing. The high volume of COVID cases sweeping the nation is impacting county health departments working to track down anyone who is exposed. New Missouri guidance would shift department efforts if contact tracing becomes overwhelming. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the details.
Renee Bonds is one of around a dozen contact tracers at the Newton County Health Department. And right now, they're seeing a spike in cases, which is taking a toll.
It can get really stressful, especially, being a nurse. One of our goals is, we want to do our very best for our clients and our patients. And so when we feel like we're getting behind, we feel like we're not helping them like we want to.
Contact tracers in Jasper County are under similar stress.
We're usually here by 7:30 in the morning, and it's oftentimes 7 at night or later before we get out of here.
But new guidance from the state health department could change that. If local departments become too overwhelmed and their community has uncontrolled spread, they can shift their contact tracers to case investigations and have residents who have tested positive make those calls to their close contacts themselves, requesting that their contacts self-quarantine.
I don't see it as a huge difference. I think in many cases that's about as effective as if we actually issue a quarantine order.
Both counties are still doing their own contact tracing, but they're leaving the idea on the table.
If our numbers could continue to increase like we have seen over the past several weeks, we will probably get to a point that's where that's just reality.
The CARES money that is helping to support contact tracers, that goes away January 1st. And then there's another contract from the state. Those funds will last probably close to the summertime. We will then probably have to turn to the public and have their help once that happens, if there's no funding replacements.
In Jasper and Newton counties, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Now, for any health department that makes this shift, the state expects them to go back to the usual contact tracing once the numbers in the area are reduced. St. Louis and Buchanan counties have already made that shift. Expectant mothers are feeling the strain of COVID-19. Both Mercy and Freeman hospitals have strict policies in place to help protect pregnant mothers and their newborns. KOAM's Kate Kelly shares the experience of one mom who went through giving birth at Freeman.
Being a mom is hard enough on its own, but factor in a pregnancy at the start of a pandemic and things get even more complicated.
We got to see our first ultrasound with the kids, but after that they no longer could come. And so only my husband could attend. And then right at the beginning of March, they stopped allowing him to come. which was a little scary because I was a high-risk pregnancy.
At her final appointment, Olsen's doctor decided to induce. Things were happening fast.
They told me up front, they said, when you go into the hospital, you have to go with your husband or baby father, and you won't come out until you come out together.
Both Mercy and Freeman have strict rules about visitors. Only one person is permitted to stay during the delivery. This wasn't Olsen's first pregnancy, but there were definitely some changes she picked up on right away. For starters, both she and her husband were tested for COVID before being allowed into the delivery room. Doctors say the coronavirus can be dangerous for moms.
1 to 3% of pregnant patients will be admitted to the ICU. Now, having said that, that sounds a little scary. I think, that means that greater than 90% of pregnant people will recover without hospitalization or, preterm delivery or anything like that.
Samantha made her debut on March 30th as COVID began to worsen. Olsen gave updates to her family through social media and took all the advice doctors gave her, wearing a mask and staying home away from large gatherings.
I really advise that you take the advice and you run with it, because they can't force you to do anything, but they're advising, and they are really smart about it, because I have seen infants catch it, and you don't know how they're going to react.
In Joplin, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Cute baby. Now, for mothers concerned about possibly transmitting COVID-19 through breast milk, doctors do still recommend breastfeeding, saying so many beneficial vitamins, nutrients, and even antibodies help boost a baby's immune system. New lockdown measures are in effect in several hotspot states as new coronavirus infections spike. Officials are urging hospitals to expand capacity to handle the surge. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more.
The coronavirus breaking records across the country as we average close to 200,000 new infections per day. The pandemic taking its toll on hospitals. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo urging facilities to expand capacity by 25%. In California, ICU capacity has dropped below 15% in some regions, leading to a new stay-at-home order for 33 million residents. Dr. Anthony Fauci warning we could see an even greater spike right after the holidays.
Without substantial mitigation, the middle of January can be a really dark time for us.
A lot of hope is riding on the potential approval of 2 vaccines in the coming days. But public health officials say even if one is approved, the majority of people will not be vaccinated until the spring.
We will not end the pandemic, in other words, really end the disease transmission, until we have at least about 70 or 80% of the American people who have either been immunized or have gotten the virus normally.
Meanwhile, here in New York City, some 190,000 students were eligible to return to in-person learning today. As part of the reopening, 20% of all students and staff must randomly be tested each week. The head of the city's teacher union, though, has some doubts about how the program will be implemented.
I mean, it's really that simple with the math. They just don't have the capacity to test every school building 20% on a weekly basis.
Governor Cuomo says here in New York, indoor dining could be next to shut down if hospitalizations remain high. In New York, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
People across the country are paying tribute to those who lost their lives 79 years ago in the attack on Pearl Harbor. Some of those ceremonies were happening virtually due to the coronavirus pandemic. Fox News senior political correspondent Mike Emanuel reports.
The U.S. Navy holding a wreath-laying ceremony in the nation's capital honoring the more than 2,400 service members and civilians killed in the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor.
And when he got up on the deck, they were already there bombing. The Japanese planes were flying so low that they could see the pilots' faces.
In Hawaii, people expressed their gratitude to those who lost their lives, remembering America's heroes.
As we remember some of those horrific tragedies of World War II, so that we do not commit the same mistake again.
The surprise Japanese attack 79 years ago on Pearl Harbor, a U.S. Navy base near Honolulu, led the U.S. into the Second World War. About half of those killed were serving on a battleship in the harbor, the USS Arizona, which sank shortly after being hit. More than 400,000 Americans lost their lives during World War II. Because of the coronavirus pandemic, some celebrations took place remotely.
Let us never forget these heroic souls our brothers and sisters of days gone by, those who never returned home, those who never had the chance to grow old.
It is unclear how many Pearl Harbor survivors are still alive. Some who served in the Navy say many days in 1941 would start the same. They would practice dive bombing until everything changed on December 7th. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our 4 state heroes. Laverne Gardner served in the U.S. Navy from 1943 to 1946, being stationed overseas in the Philippines and Okinawa. We are proud to thank Laverne Gardner, a native of Pittsburgh. He is tonight's 4 state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later in sports, going to hear from former Carl Junction Bulldog basketball standout Katie Scott on her strong start at Grand Canyon University.
Well, it turned out to be a pretty nice Monday for us today. Actually, after a nice weekend, we had sunshine Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures slowly warming up. Today was great. We had mostly sunny skies, great time lapse, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But clear skies, we'll continue to see the clear skies as we roll through the overnight hours for us tonight. It's going to be calm the next few days, but we are going to have a warming trend. So we're going to start to warm up even 60s to near 70 by Wednesday and Thursday. We do have 2 systems which are going to roll in over the weekend. The first one rolls in on Friday or near the weekend, and then a second one over the weekend if we can get enough moisture. So we're going to watch that. Of course, you can always get my latest long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAMnewsnow.com. Lower 50s yesterday. We started out in the upper 20s and then mid-50s for us today, so it turned out to be a great day. Of course, we're cooling off. Most of us now upper 30s to low to mid 40s, and I think most of us will drop eventually near 30 a little bit later on tonight. 44 right now, feels like 39 with the south wind at 10. Humidity is at 68%. Dew point is 34 degrees, and as we go through the overnight hours, we'll continue to have pretty much clear skies as those temperatures drop back through the 30s to near 30 later on tonight, but not much is going on here. We had a weak little wave that passed by just to our east earlier today, and if you look out to the west, it's pretty quiet. That's our weather over the next couple days. If you look down in Southern California, you can see a little pocket of clouds, and that is actually our next little wave right off the coast of California, and eventually that wave will rotate in and give us some rain chances by the time we head into Friday. But until then, I expect that we will stay mainly dry. Look at the big ridge of high pressure that rolls in over the next couple days, helping those temperatures warm up. Here comes that little wave on Friday into Saturday. On the backside, we may get a little bit of snow Friday night into Saturday morning. Then a secondary wave will drop in by Sunday, and we'll see if we can get any moisture with it. That will give us any rain or snow chances, but still several days away. For us tonight, just cold, pretty much clear skies. We'll have fog maybe in our northern counties. Most of us will be fine. 30 to start. West winds at about 5 to 10. We're going to warm through the 30s, 40s, 52 by noon. Then a high temp all the way up to about 57 during the afternoon. So it looks great. Plenty of sunshine for us on Tuesday. So if we start tomorrow evening, we head into the overnight hours. We drop into the 30s again. But look at Wednesday. We shoot into the mid 60s. 4 highs. Even on Thursday, we go into the mid 60s, 4 highs, and then we'll start to see those clouds increasing and those rain chances increasing as we work toward the weekend. 57 tomorrow, 68 Wednesday, 67 on Thursday, 57, a little bit cooler on Friday with the rain, and then cooling down as we work into the weekend. Jordan?
Doug, thanks so much. Our annual Toy Box campaign is in full swing each year. We ask for donations of toys or money to buy toys to give to area kids in need. You can find a list of toy drop-off locations on our website right there, KOAMnewsnow.com, or you can donate by phone during our Toy Box Tuesday telethon happening tomorrow on our noon, 5 p.m., also 6 p.m. news. Coming up, the Georgia Senate showdown.
We are less than a month away from Georgia's runoff elections, and there is both a lot of money and a lot of political star power in the Peach State. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. I'll have the latest on the fight for the Senate coming up.
In less than a month, Two runoff elections will determine which party controls the Senate. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has the latest on where both races stand as we enter the final weeks of 2020.
All eyes are on a pair of election runoffs in Georgia just 29 days away. At stake, which party will control the U.S. Senate? Will Republicans hold on to power, or will Democrats have the upper hand?
This has been a difficult, long election year, but everybody has to return to the polls.
Sunday, Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler and her Democratic opponent, Raphael Warnock, took to the debate stage, making their case for why they should win.
I cannot stand by and let Georgians not know who my opponent is, how radical his views are, and how he would fundamentally change our country.
It's clear to me that my opponent is going to work really hard, spending millions of dollars of her own money, trying to push a narrative about me, because she's clearly decided that she does not have a case to be made for why she should stay in that seat.
Democrat Jon Ossoff debated an empty podium where he criticized his opponent, Georgia Senator David Perdue, for refusing to participate. This as Monday marks the deadline for Georgia residents to register to vote. Saturday, President Trump held a rally in Georgia where he continued to challenge the presidential election results, urging voters not to sit this one out.
Let me tell you, this election was rigged. We can't let it happen again.
Meanwhile, Georgia's top election official said his office plans to recertify the state's election results, confirming again that Joe Biden won the Peach State.
We are working with the counties to assure a fair, safe, and secure election for January 5th.
The latest polls are mixed. Both parties are ahead in one race each, but Democrats would need to win both in order to give Vice President-elect Kamala Harris the edge as the Senate tiebreaker. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Just ahead, an interesting, out-of-this-world story.
It's a mission that could provide clues about our solar system and life on Earth. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer with details on Japan's latest space journey straight ahead.
It's a space journey spanning 6 years and 3 billion miles, and has come to an end. Back in 2014, Japan launched a spacecraft, and over the weekend, it returned to Earth with a special gift: pieces of a faraway asteroid. Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer explains why the samples could give insight into the origins of life on our planet.
A Japanese space capsule makes a fiery return to Earth. Early Sunday morning, Japan's space agency completed a 6-year-long mission to collect samples from an asteroid 180 million miles away. People in the Australian outback watched as the capsule plummeted back to Earth, sending a blaze of light across the dark sky. After about 2 hours of searching through the desert, officials found the capsule and will bring it back to Japan this week for research.
This is a mission that could not have been realized without the cooperation of Australia. International cooperation is essential for space development.
Inside the capsule is the world's first ever sample from beneath the surface of an asteroid. It's just a small speck of dust, but it has a big potential to provide new information about our solar system and how life on this planet started.
It's not always good when space rocks fall to Earth, but fortunately, this was very controlled. In fact, it was an amazing technological achievement. And this sample coming back in a little metal capsule, of a sort of a human-made flying saucer, if you will.
It's a huge milestone for Japan, and one that could put the country at the forefront of space exploration.
With Japanese technology, the spacecraft went to a distant asteroid and came back safely. I think it has potential to prove how advanced Japanese technology is.
The capsule's return comes 1 week after a Chinese spacecraft collected samples from the moon and weeks after NASA's spacecraft touched down on a different asteroid. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
All right, that's pretty cool. Gonna tell you about a lighted drone show not too far from here that's happening soon when we come back. I always love shows like this. Talk about technology, how it's advanced over the years. Look at this. Walmart is spreading some holiday cheer with its drone light shows. The retail giant teaming up with tech company Intel to stage the shows live in 8 cities across the country. The events are book solid, but you can watch a live streamed version from home. The shows feature light spectacles from 1,000 drones. The first show of the season took place over in Kansas City, with another held Saturday in Dallas. The rest will be at Walmart locations in San Antonio, Phoenix, Charlotte, North Carolina, Sacramento, California, Fayetteville, Arkansas, which is not too far from here, and Dawsonville, Virginia. You can check out WalmartDroneShow.com. Again, WalmartDroneShow.com for updated ticket availability. Again, that is so cool. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Joplin City Council members will take final action tonight on an ordinance regarding a change in trash service providers for the area, but some residents are very concerned about the potential change. I'm Caitlin Shive. We'll have details coming up.
Congress is as close as it's been in months to passing coronavirus relief. I'm Ray Bogan. Coming up, we've got a look at legislation that could pass sometime next week.
Joplin City Council decides on an ordinance tonight that would change the current trash service provider from Republic Services to Waste Corporation America instead. KOM's Caitlin Shive shows us a comparison of the two bids from the companies and why some residents are not happy with the potential switch.
For the past 5 years or so, Republic Trash Services has been the Joplin area provider for curbside trash pickup and recycling.
Periodically, it's necessary for us to review that contract to make sure that we're getting the best deal for our citizens. So through that process, we've had two bidders come forward, WCA and Republic.
City Council is now deciding on whether to change providers based off of each company's bids for the spot. WCA comes in with the lower trash service bid of $11.38 as opposed to $11.50 from Republic. Recycling services through Republic would be $10.97. WCA's would be half that at $5.25.
The initial review by the council, there were, I believe, 6 council members that thought WCA might provide a better service than Republic, and so that's the path that initially has appeared for us to move forward.
There are more than 17,500 residential trash pickup customers and more than 1,600 curbside recycling customers.
Each provider has merits and has reason or justification to use their service, and so it's really just more of an analysis to see which one might provide the better service for Joplin.
But customer service is the reason some Joplin residents are not happy with the potential switch to WCA.
Has Republic tarnished their appearance? No. If we go to WCA and our alleys and our streets are full of trash, is that going to help our appearance? Doesn't Joplin deserve the best? We deserve an American company. We deserve to keep those people employed at Republic and keep the service as is. If it's not broken, why fix it?
Mary Price, who runs the Joplin Citizens for Republic Trash Service Facebook page, is addressing council on the ordinance, stating there are multiple negative reviews for WCA's service.
They don't have a track record. They have an F rating on the Better Business Bureau. Republic has an A rating. My other question is if we cut out recycling and you went on trash service alone, 20 cents, you would really give up quality service for 20 cents?
With hopes it will change council's mind on changing their trash service contract.
Republic Services should be granted the contract based on service and service alone.
In Joplin, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
For the latest on the council's decision on the contract, go ahead and visit our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. Council also passed the first reading of an ordinance to annex a property near the 32nd Street Place Community Improvement District to include it in the district. Officials say the annexation was necessary in order to make street improvements listed in the redevelopment plan. They also said they are allowed to annex it because the property is blighted because of unsafe or unsanitary conditions. The ordinance will move on to second and third readings. City Council also voted to pass on first reading an expansion of the Sunshine Lamp Historic District to include portions of the 800 and 900 blocks of Main Street. As part of the district, the city will pay for half of eligible buildings, facade improvements, and up to $37,500. Council also approved the first readings of measures to rezone multiple Joplin cemeteries as historical preservation districts. Osborne Cemetery, Parkway Cemetery, and Forest Park Cemetery would all become historic preservation districts if the ordinance is approved on second and third readings. The council said they would look into also Fairview Cemetery at a later date. Small businesses across the country continue to make sacrifices because of COVID-19 restrictions, which have severely impacted the restaurant industry in particular. In response, Congress is currently negotiating a relief bill to help out those in need. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan reports.
Restaurant owners from D.C. were dishing out protest. They're calling on Congress to pass the Restaurant Act, which would create a $120 billion fund to help owners pay for essential expenses during the pandemic. A restaurant-specific package is not currently on the table, but financial relief could soon be served.
You know, if I got another PPP loan and I received that and I was able to pay my employees, I would have no problem with that.
A $908 billion coronavirus relief package is set to be released tomorrow. The bipartisan legislation will set aside $288 billion for small business aid, including the Paycheck Protection Program. It will also offer $300 a week in additional unemployment benefits.
The pain of the American people is driving this, and I'm optimistic that both those leaders will come on board.
State and local government assistance will also be included at a $160 billion price tag, which governors and mayors say they need.
Well, certainly every city and state in America would take an infusion of help right now, but this could only be seen as a small beginning to what we really need, which is a huge stimulus that will put us all back on our feet.
The House will vote on a bill to avoid a government shutdown Wednesday, meaning coronavirus relief and government funding will likely be finalized sometime next week. In Washington, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
A bit later, a visit to the UK, where COVID-19 vaccines are being distributed this week.
Well, it turned out to be a pretty nice Monday for us today. Actually, after a nice weekend, we had sunshine Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures slowly warming up. Today was great. We had mostly sunny skies, great time lapse, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But clear skies, we'll continue to see the clear skies as we roll through the overnight hours for us tonight. It's going to be calm the next few days, but we are going to have a warming trend. So we're going to start to warm up even 60s to near 70 by Wednesday and Thursday. We do have two systems which are going to roll in over the weekend. The first one rolls in on Friday or near the weekend, and then a second one over the weekend if we can get enough moisture. So we're going to watch that. Of course, you can always get my latest long-range forecast on my month-long blog, KOAMnewsnow.com. Lower 50s yesterday. We started out in the upper 20s and then mid-50s for us today, so it turned out to be a great day. Of course, we're cooling off. Most of us now upper 30s to low to mid 40s, and I think most of us will drop eventually near 30 a little bit later on tonight. 44 right now, feels like 39 with the south wind at 10. Humidity is at 68%. Dew point is 34 degrees, and as we go through the overnight hours, we'll continue to have pretty much clear skies as those temperatures drop back through the 30s to near 30 later on tonight, but not much is going on here. We had a weak little wave that passed by just to our east earlier today, and if you look out to the west, it's pretty quiet. That's our weather over the next couple days. If you look down in Southern California, you can see a little pocket of clouds, and that is actually our next little wave right off the coast of California, and eventually that wave will rotate in and give us some rain chances by the time we head into Friday. But until then, I expect that we will stay mainly dry. Look at the big ridge of high pressure that rolls in over the next couple days, helping those temperatures warm up. Here comes that little wave on Friday into Saturday. On the backside, we may get a little bit of snow Friday night into Saturday morning. Then a secondary wave will drop in by Sunday, and we'll see if we can get any moisture with it. That will give us any rain or snow chances, but still several days away. For us tonight, just cold, pretty much clear skies. We'll have fog maybe in our northern counties. Most of us will be fine. 30 to start. West winds at about 5 to 10. We're going to warm through the 30s, 40s, 52 by noon. Then a high temp all the way up to about 57 during the afternoon. So it looks great. Plenty of sunshine for us on Tuesday. So if we start tomorrow evening, we head into the overnight hours. We drop into the 30s again. But look at Wednesday. We shoot into the mid 60s. 4 highs. Even on Thursday, we go into the mid 60s, 4 highs, and then we'll start to see those clouds increasing, those rain chances increasing as we work toward the weekend. 57 tomorrow, 68 Wednesday, 67 on Thursday, 57, a little bit cooler on Friday with the rain, and then cooling down as we work into the weekend. Jordan?
Thank you again, Doug. Coming up in sports, a Missouri Southern women's player wins the MIAA Women's Basketball Player of the Week. Plus, going to hear from those Chiefs after their win over the division rival Broncos.
Former Carl Junction basketball standout Katie Scott is in her first season at Grand Canyon University in Phoenix. It hasn't taken her very long to make a name for herself in her first 3 games at GCU. Katie Scott is already making a name for herself at Grand Canyon University.
She's a kid that can go down in the history books here. I truly believe that, and kind of leave her legacy at a place. And that's exciting for her, just 3 games in, to know that she has that capability at the Division I level.
The style of play is just so contagious, and even on the bench, I'm having a time of my life.
The former Carl Junction standout leads GCU in scoring. Scott is averaging 20 points and 6 rebounds through the team's first 3 games, including 29 points in her last game on Saturday.
We've given her the green light from the get-go, and I think for her that's just kind of a comfort factor.
I have been given the green light, which a lot of freshmen don't always get that. So it's kind of been a confidence boost, and it has been an incentive to work harder, because I want to prove that I can do everything she says I can.
She's really done a really good job of embracing that role of, we need you to score, probably not like a typical freshman. Just pick up where you left off at Carl Junction, and she's done that really well.
Scott is already opening eyes across the league.
She's no longer our hidden secret. Whoever gets the Katie Scott assignment might be a little nervous on the scout day, on film day, when they see everything she can do, because you really have to guard her all areas of the court.
While success has come quickly for the freshman, Scott knows she's far from her ceiling, and there's plenty of work to do over the next 4 years.
With the tough games coming up, I just want to continue to prove myself, and like Coach Miller said, prove that I have that versatility. I don't want to be a one-trick pony. I don't want to be easy to guard.
Just the expansiveness of her game is going to be really dangerous for the next 4 years, and she's going to get even better. I mean, she's already at a high level right now, but you're going to get better as you start to play and get used to this style and the college game.
Scott and GCU will be back on the floor on Wednesday night hosting Northern Arizona. Missouri Southern's Carly Turnbull has been named the MIAA Women's Basketball Player of the Week. Turnbull helped the Lions go 2-0 last week, picking up wins over Northeastern State and Rogers State. In those 2 games, Turnbull posted 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game. She's averaging 15 points per game on the year. The Lions are 3-3 and will be back on the floor next Thursday, hosting Northwest Missouri State. Finally, the Chiefs beat the Broncos on Sunday night 22-16. And with that win, Kansas City gets to 11-1 and has clinched a spot in the AFC playoffs. It's the 6th consecutive season they have made the postseason. But just making the postseason, not really their goal. They've got their eyes on a division title and next week's opponent, the Miami Dolphins.
We didn't talk at all about it in the locker room about the playoffs. We just talked about getting ourselves ready for next week and be ready to go down to Miami and play them.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
As the United States gets ready for more developments this week on the vaccination front, nations around the globe will be looking at the United Kingdom. Coronavirus vaccinations are expected to roll out there this week. Fox's Lillian Wu has the latest.
The world will be watching this week as the UK begins its COVID-19 vaccine process. About 800,000 doses of vaccine from Pfizer and Germany's BioNTech are expected to be ready on Tuesday. It comes as the UK passes 61,000 deaths. People aged 80 and older already going to the hospital as outpatients, and those discharged from the hospital will be among the first to get the vaccine.
This is just so exciting. It's a momentous occasion. The NHS has been planning extensively to deliver the largest vaccination programme in our history, so it's really exciting.
Governments across the world will be looking at the success and failures of the UK's vaccination plans, which will take months. In Russia, a mass vaccination process began over the weekend. 1,000 doses of the Sputnik V vaccine will be given to medical workers and teachers. It's expected another 2,000 doses of the vaccine will be available by the end of the year.
Everyone I know wants to get the vaccine. They're waiting impatiently until it's available for everyone.
And in Indonesia, 1.2 million doses of a Chinese-made vaccine arrived in the country over the weekend.
As it is not possible to simultaneously vaccinate all residents, I hope all parties will follow the announcement from the officer who is currently preparing vaccinations.
South Korea also marking an uptick in cases, with more than 5,300 added in the last 10 days. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
All right, when we come back, check out this week's list for new entertainments now available to watch at home. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mission to Mars. Francis Ford Coppola edits the past. Fox's Ashley DeVorkin runs down a list of new digital, DVD, and album releases.
You're gonna love this.
A sci-fi classic gets an upgrade, an iconic mafia saga gets a new conclusion, and a Beatles legend releases new music. Here's a look at what's new in home entertainment.
Do you want to know the future?
Arnold Schwarzenegger's 1990 sci-fi classic Total Recall celebrates its 30th anniversary with a 3-disc 4K Ultra HD combo pack. Schwarzenegger plays a construction worker on Earth in 2084 who discovers he's actually a secret agent involved with revolutionary forces on Mars.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Another celebratory release includes The Godfather Part 3, which gets a new cut just in time for its 30th anniversary. Director and screenwriter Francis Ford Coppola's re-edit of the third film is titled Mario Puzo's The Godfather, Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, and gives a new conclusion to the Mafia saga.
Our next contract's a big one.
Also available, the sci-fi thriller Possessor is about an elite corporate assassin who uses a brain implant technology to take over people's bodies to execute high-profile targets.
You don't have to do this, son.
The Lifetime movie Faith Under Fire features Grammy-winning singer Toni Braxton playing real-life hero Antoinette Tuff, who saved countless lives by convincing a gunman at Georgia Elementary School to surrender.
This valley's mine.
From TV to DVD, the third season of Yellowstone starring Kevin Costner is available, as well as a limited edition DVD gift set of the first 3 seasons.
I had to just do something new for fun.
And for music fans, Beatles legend Paul McCartney releases his new album, McCartney 3. Ashley DeVorkin, Fox News.
It's nothing personal, just business. We got to end the show. It's nothing personal, just it's business. We got to end the show. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video of Christmas lights in Nevada, Missouri. Beautiful Christmas lights. Hey, be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.